Is Elon Musk selling Tesla stock? Again, the stock is down 4.72%. This is all while the markets are down, but not that much. NASDAQ 100 only down less than 1%. S&P 500 down just a little bit over 1%. And this is the most concerning part. Elon replied to this tweet. You will see what he replied in a moment. Scary. ARK Invest has been concerned the impact of the declining residual values on the $1 trillion auto loan market. Most of these loans back gas-powered vehicles. This guy on Twitter, Guy Dealership, handle name, explains that the crisis is underway. The consumer preference shift toward EVs will exacerbate this crisis. And then you don't want Elon Musk replying with this, potentially the biggest financial crisis ever. If you are strongly convinced that the biggest financial crisis is ahead of us, happening next year possibly, what you want to do for sure is to ensure that all of your companies have good cash reserves. SpaceX is fine. Tesla is just fine. Twitter, however, probably not. And Twitter relies on advertising. Advertising, if we do have a recession, it will be hit very badly. So this is not looking exactly good for Elon Musk not selling Tesla stock again. Because if you do believe the worst is coming, and we know Elon he said that he does have a recession PTSD. So he is preparing for the absolute worst. Or if you are a little bit more sinister, you could possibly say that Elon is just saying that so that he has a good justification to sell Tesla stock. I don't think that's the case. But be prepared for bears throwing this argument around. And just for a moment, put yourself in Elon Musk's shoes. With the CEO Performance Award, Elon Musk, at today's Tesla stock prices, he will have over $100 billion worth of Tesla stock. If you have two companies that are doing just fine, Tesla, SpaceX, if you run them, and then you have a third one to take care of, which is short on cash, it is struggling, it will die if you don't take care of it, if there is a super bad recession. So if you just need to sell just, let's say, 10% of your Tesla stock, a relatively small amount, even if you need to sell more than that, let's say even 20%, that's still relatively a small amount. Even 25% is still relatively a small amount to your total holdings. Now, to us retail Tesla stock investors, when Elon dumps that much stock, even when he dumps just $4 billion of stock, Tesla stock just presents us a huge buying opportunity. I know some of you are tired of seeing those. But if I was Elon, it would make sense to me to sell more Tesla stock because I would still own a whole bunch of Tesla stock to finance Twitter, to ensure that Twitter is going to be just fine, especially because, remember, Elon believes that Twitter is going to get to 1 billion active users, and possibly it is likely to be $1 trillion company. Now, Elon himself, he said Twitter would be the most valuable financial company in the world. He said that at Barron's conference, so about over a month ago now. So to him, financially, it makes sense to sell some Tesla stock, put it in Twitter if he needs to. Financially, it doesn't seem like he would be losing any money, even if Tesla stock keeps going up a lot, because Twitter is also probably going to go a lot, maybe even more, possibly more. Could that be the case? So if all Elon needs to do is just to sacrifice a little bit of Tesla stock to make sure that Twitter definitely survives, if I was Elon, I would do it immediately if I had to. We'll get in a moment into these really bad loans that fueled the auto industry. Just before we get into that, if you do believe that we will have a very bad recession, which Elon Musk clearly believes we will have a terrible recession, what I've been doing, I've been working more. I've been making sure that I am making sure that my businesses are strong, that we are growing, that everything is tight, that all of the debt is paid off. I am in a strong position. So to me, if this does happen, it's going to be the buying opportunity of the lifetime. And I want to make sure that during this time, my income is extremely strong so I can take advantage of this opportunity instead of crying and complaining and looking at your portfolio going down. Now, if you are already retired, you are probably not able to do it. But if you are not yet, then it is something to worth considering. If Elon Musk has not sold Tesla stock today, then at least we know he's not able to sell any more Tesla stock later in December because the trading window will be closed. It will be the earnings season soon. However, this is quite a silver lining and a pretty clear giveaway that actually proves if this indeed actually happened with Elon, with an actual intent to actually take out a margin loan against Tesla stock. If this actually happened, then this would be a pretty clear giveaway that Elon indeed truly believes that Tesla stock in the future will go up a lot. Otherwise, why would you get a margin loan against the stock that you think would be collapsing completely, or at least not going up significantly in the future? It just wouldn't make any sense. If you think that the stock reached its high already, its peak, or it will just stay flat for the most part, it makes sense to sell. So if you are a long-term investor, you might find this quite reassuring. Let's dive in now into this Twitter thread to which Elon Musk replied, perhaps the biggest financial crisis ever. In the last few years, people took out massive loans to finance their vehicles, and the vehicle prices got more and more expensive, but people had no choice but to buy them because, look, you need a car to get around, especially in the US. But now car valuations have completely plummeted. Some cars have declined in value as much as 30% year over year. And of course, banks are also aware of this because the problem here is this makes a lot of loans under water, unfortunately, meaning that people owe banks more on these cars than they are worth. That's a bad position to be in. And this is where it starts to get really bad. 9 of our lending partners have started waiving open auto stipulations for consumers. I'll explain what that means in just a moment. So here's what's going on. Number one, consumer takes out an auto loan in 2020, let's say, on an overvalued car. Number two, 2022 comes around and that overvalued car is now rapidly declining in value. Number three, with the car declining in value, consumer now owes more on the car than it's worth. Very bad, because it makes more sense to default on the car than to keep paying for that car. So the consumer does not want the car anymore, but the dealer also can't trade the car in because the consumer owes way too much money on it. So the dealer asks the consumer to pay a lot of money. But of course, the consumer doesn't have thousands of dollars to cover the difference between what they owe on the car and what it's worth. And you would think this is where the worst part comes in, but not yet. Dealer can't sell the consumer a new car because the consumer is not able to trade in the old car. And of course, the dealers cannot buy the consumer's car that the consumer wants to trade in, because they can't sell the car to anyone else at the prices that the consumer wants to trade in that car. And then, of course, lenders can't finance the car. So this is where it gets really nasty. Lenders, knowing this, you would think they wouldn't lend any money to someone who already has a loan, right? They owe more on that car than the car is worth. But you would be wrong. Lenders, knowing this, a lender waives the open auto stipulation, meaning the lender lets the consumer buy the car knowing that they already have an open auto loan with another bank. Why would they do this? This is confusing, isn't it? And of course, the lender knows that consumers that take out a second auto loan are much riskier and have a much higher risk of defaulting. And that's correct, usually. But in this case, the lender does it because they know that the consumer will default on the other car, meaning they will only have one loan then. That's some nasty business, right? Of course, none of this is normal. Absolutely not. But it is already starting to happen, unfortunately. This will result in a ton of repossessions. Elon agreed with this prediction, and what is that going to do to car prices? The prices are going to have to come down. That includes new car prices, not just used car prices that have been repossessed, because now you can buy a much cheaper used car that is still perfectly fine, probably maybe just a few years old. So if you can get a car that's much more cheaper, still in pretty good condition, why would you want to buy a completely new car and overpay badly? So next year is looking a little bit bleak, unfortunately. Get ready for a bad recession, everybody. These are 48 reasons why I only own Tesla stock in my stock portfolio. My name is Matt Posh. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.